Dark voices. Maggie grew up mistreated by her stepfather and her sister. Even though she obeyed everything they ordered, and tried to please them in every way, it was never enough for them to love and accept her. For the smallest mistake, she was often yelled at and hurt. Even when it was her sister Cassandra's fault, Maggie was the one punished. Whenever her mother defended her, it turned into another fight between her parents. It wasn't a secret to Maggie that she wasn't really the daughter of Mr. Hank Verer. She'd heard the neighbors whisper about it. Still, because she loved her mother, Mary, she kept being respectful to Hank, even if all she got in return was contempt. Then one day, a homeless older man took a job as a car wash attendant at their family's car wash, and the young woman took a liking to him at once. Soon, a piece of news rattled the household and left Hank and Cassandra stunned. How could Maggie escape the cruelty of her stepfather and sister? What part would the old man play in her life? Where would she finally find the love she had longed for? This is your host, Mr. Hope. Let's discover the answers together in these extraordinary true-to-life tales that keep you on the edge of your seat. Dark voices. A restless wind swept through the neighborhood even though it was already night. Few cars passed along the back street of Anderson Hollow. A black SUV sat idling at the corner, headlights still on. Along the curb, an older man ran as fast as he could. He was gasping for breath with a smear of blood on his pant leg. His glasses were bent, his eyes wild and anxious. He had just passed through the area and planned to head back to the city, but some strung-out teens hanging around had decided to mess with him. The fear on his face couldn't be hidden. 5 teenage punks, huffers high on fumes, were chasing Mr. Isaac Lawrence. They hooped and traded shouts as they ran. "Hey, old man, hand over your wallet. You look like you're loaded. Give the crew a little early birthday love." Another jeered. "That watch, Grandpa. Leave us a souvenir." They cackled. "Run, monkey. Run. Quit it already. We're not going to do anything to you." One lied. Isaac kept running. He had no idea where he was going. He didn't know the twists of this neighborhood. Just narrow alleys, dark corners, and silent houses. He glanced over his shoulder again and again, praying to spot someone who could help, until he noticed lights on inside a small fenced lot. A sign read, "Ver's Car Wash. Open early, close late." Even though it was late, the lights were still on. He saw his chance, turned in, and hurried to the gate. He rattled it to make noise. "Hello, please help me. Some guys are after me," he begged. Even the dogs out on the street wouldn't stop barking at the people running and shouting. But wait, would anyone open the gate? Or would this desperate plea fall on cruel ears? Dark voices. Inside the house next to the car wash, a young woman heard a man pleading for help. She peeked through the kitchen window while she was putting things away. This was Maggie. She was 26, but very thin. She wore a faded house dress and held a wet sponge. She had been washing piles of plates and pots. Her stepfather Hank's bedroom was close to the kitchen. He happened to step out for a glass of water and caught her peeking through the window. "Hey, Maggie, what are you gawking at? Finish what you're doing. You've got an early day tomorrow. You've still got a ton to take care of. You move too slow." He snapped. Maggie stammered. "Someone what?" He barked. "You can't even talk straight. That's what happens when your brain's mush. Spit it out." Hank Verer was bald, heavy-set, swaggering, and mean, feared by most of the neighborhood. "There's a man outside. He looks like he needs help," Maggie said softly. "So what? Maybe the cops are after him." "You always got to butt in," Hank glared. "But he really seems to need help." She tried again. Hank slapped his belt against the wall so hard the sound made Maggie flinch. She shook with fear, certain he'd swing next at her if he got more riled up. "Mind your own business. You don't know that old guy. You want to get us dragged into his trouble? What are you, some hero?" He jabbed a finger into her forehead. Maggie dropped her gaze and fell silent. She wanted so badly to open the gate and help the man, but she was terrified of Hank's belt and fists. He scolded her for the smallest things. And when he got mad, it wasn't just harsh words. It was bruises. Outside, the old man kept pleading. "Please, I'm begging you. They'll kill me." Hank's patience snapped. He stormed out to the gate and kicked it so hard Isaac stepped back. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" "Ha? It's the middle of the night and you're making a scene. Get lost. Beat it," he snarled. Isaac faltered under the stream of curses and, not wanting more trouble, hurried off, looking for a place to hide. "Who told you to stick your nose out at this hour?" Hank shouted after him. "You dumb or what? Go bother people who are trying to sleep." Scram! Maggie ran out after Hank, heartbroken for the man begging for help, and stunned Hank wouldn't even open the gate. "Dad, just for a moment. Could we let him in by the gate at least?" she whispered. "Shut up. You're useless. Want me to deck you? What if he's bad news? You want the whole house cut to pieces?" He cocked a fist and Maggie raised her forearms over her head to shield herself. "You going to pay the price if something happens? If you want to help him, you go out there. Let's see if those tweakers don't tear you apart." "Idiot." He cuffed the back of her head in disgust, stomped inside, yanked open the fridge, and gulped down a glass of cold water. His temper still burned. Maggie slipped back to the sink, tears slipping into the dishwater. She longed to help the old man, but fear of Hank pinned her in place. "I'm sorry, I didn't have the courage to help you," she thought as the tears traced her cheeks. Mercy lived in her, but she had been raised in fear by a cruel stepfather and a spiteful sister. She hadn't even finished college because Hank refused to pay. "A waste of money," he'd said. Isaac didn't press for help. He'd heard Hank cursing Maggie for wanting to help him and didn't want to cause more trouble. "I've already started a fight in that family," he thought. But why does he tear into his daughter like that? He spotted a heap of trash bags by the alley, slid into the pile, and burrowed between sacks to hide. Footfalls pounded closer. He held his breath stiff as a board. "Dude, maybe he ducked in here," one teen said. "I don't know. He was fast. Maybe he jumped toward the creek." Another answered, "Keep looking. He looked like he's carrying cash." Their leader snapped. They split up. Isaac didn't move a muscle until the last footsteps faded. He waited a few more minutes, then crawled out, filthy and shaking. He glanced toward the house by the car wash. Maggie still stood at the window watching. Their eyes met. No words, only a nod from the old man. "Thank you for wanting to help." She watched until he vanished into the night. The bedroom door flew open again. Hank, still simmering, rounded on Maggie. "So, you'd pick a fight with me over a stranger?" he spat, flecks of saliva flying. Maggie kept quiet. Any word would only bring his fist. "If I end up in danger because of you, you'll regret it. We're not a charity. Remember that." "Yes, sir. It won't happen again." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You never learn. You studied, didn't you? Why don't you ever use your head?" He barked. Maggie bowed and wept silently, still glancing toward the window, wondering if the man was okay. "Quit the tears. Don't guilt-trip me. I'll throw you out," he warned. "Tomorrow you run the car wash." Edgar quit. "Idiot just like you. But I've still got all of Cassandra's laundry." She didn't finish. Hank's hand cracked across her cheek, sending her sprawling. "How many times do I have to say don't talk back? Who's paying the bills if you don't work? We're short-staffed." Maggie nodded and said no more. Her mother Mary slipped in, worry on her face. "Sweetheart, what did you and your stepdad argue about now? Why is he furious again?" "It's nothing, Mom. I'm used to it," Maggie said flatly. Just be patient with him. You two woke me up. Oh, next week I have to go back to our hometown. Grandpa's sick. Take me with you, Mom. I want to see him. We can't both go. Someone has to watch the car wash. You know how your stepdad is. He's often out with his buddies at the casino. Mary stroked Maggie's cheek. She and Hank fought often over his harsh treatment of Maggie, but she felt trapped. Years ago, he had stepped in and saved her from shame in her strict family. He never stopped throwing that in her face whenever she defended Maggie. Maggie closed her eyes, heart heavy. Isaac made it back to his SUV. The street light glinted off shattered glass. He climbed in, hugged himself against the cold, and shuddered at the thought of what might have happened. Those punks. I'm lucky I got away. If not, I might be a corpse by morning. The image of the young woman's eyes that had wanted to help, wouldn't leave him. He started the engine, spotted the group in his side mirror racing back, then gunned it and drove straight to the nearest police station to report the attack. Days later, even in his office, high in a tower in downtown Chicago, Isaac couldn't shake the memory. Floor-to-ceiling glass framed a glittering city, giant billboards, steel and glass, and rivers of people. But despite the view, his mind kept circling a single image. A young woman's tearful eyes. Why can't I get her out of my head, he wondered, exhaling, closing his eyes. Another memory surfaced years back, a night he couldn't forget. The sky had been low and heavy. Laughter, clinking bottles, a live band. He and his buddies were celebrating his promotion to creative director at a major ad agency at a lodge outside Lake Tahoe. Man, you're on fire. CEO material next, a friend joked. Cut it out. Isaac laughed, tossing back another shot. Success didn't fill the hollow he felt. The night deepened, the drinks hit hard, and the room tilted. Guys, I'm drunk. I'll turn in. He slurred, weaving down the hall to his room. He twisted the knob, went in, and collapsed on the bed, then felt another body beside him. A woman with long hair and soft, sleepy eyes lay there, clearly drunk, too. She's beautiful, he breathed. He couldn't help staring at her gentle face. He bent and their lips met. Heat poured through him. For a few drunk, reckless minutes they gave in. Strangers, lost, sheltered for a moment from their separate storms. Morning. The woman, Mary, bolted upright, head pounding. She gasped to see herself naked beside a man she didn't know. A wedding ring gleamed on his hand. Married, she thought. What happened? Shame burning, she scrambled into her clothes and fled. Only then did Isaac stir, catching a glimpse of a woman darting out of his room. He asked everyone he could about her, even the caretaker, but no one knew. She left a faint, unshakable mark on him. A knock at his office door jolted him back. Mr. Lawrence, you have a Zoom meeting in 15 minutes, said Amanda, his assistant. Thanks, Amanda. Make sure we're set, he said, straightening up. The meeting began. Board members going over a new multi-million-dollar proposal. He smiled at the win and planned a short getaway to clear his head. But the face he couldn't stop seeing was the girl by the car wash. He decided to go back and find her, even if he had to hide who he really was. But why disguise himself as a broke old man? What secret was he hiding? Dark voices. After the meeting, he called his driver. Danny, get the car. We're going out tomorrow. The next day, they drove for hours to Anderson Hollow. In the back seat, Isaac stared at his reflection in the glass. I can't show up like myself. That blowhard stepdad will treat me differently. I need to look broke. Old man Gus. That'll do. If that's what it takes to meet her, I'll do it, he thought, half smiling. What's the plan out there, sir? Danny asked. You'll see, Isaac said. When they parked near Vera's car wash, Isaac stepped out, glanced around, and saw no sign of Maggie, only a teen boy coiling a hose. He hurried back to the car. He'd forgotten to change. That was quick, sir, Danny said. Forgot my costume, Isaac said. Danny watched, baffled as his boss changed into threadbare clothes and smudged his face with charcoal. "Sir, what are you doing?" "Let it be. Drop me here and go. I'll call when I need you, or I'll make my own way back. Take a few days with your family." Isaac chuckled. Danny shook his head, bemused, and drove off. An older man with a grimy face, old Gus, walked onto the lot. Inside, Hank sat tallying receipts, lips curled in a sneer. "Good morning, sir," old Gus said. "Any chance you're hiring? I could use the work." "Don't bother me. Can't you see I'm busy?" Hank snapped. "I can wait till you're free," old Gus answered. Hank glanced up, one eyebrow rising. "You applying here? At your age, you won't last a day." "I can still work. I just need to earn a bit so I can get back to my hometown," old Gus said. "You'd be more trouble than help," Hank muttered, shaking his head. Cassandra, Maggie's sister, sauntered over, attitude written all over her face. She wasn't particularly pretty, but coasted on fair skin and a glare. "Who's that, Dad?" she asked, hands on hips. "Wants to be a car wash boy." "I don't want to take him." "Too old," Hank scoffed. "Take him. We're short." "Just don't be an idiot like Edgar, or you're out," Cassandra said, arching a brow. "Don't worry, Mom," old Gus replied. "I can work. Start tomorrow bright and early. If you're late, you're done." "We don't have patience for screw-ups," Cassandra said. "You can count on me," he said, and walked out. By the gate, he paused by the house next door, the window where he'd seen the girl. "Hey, old man. Did Mr. Virer hire you?" The teen called out. "Yeah, kid. Start tomorrow." "Your boss seems strict," old Gus joked. "That's Mr. Virer and Miss Cassandra for you. Be patient with them, sir." The boy Jimmy said. "Does Mr. Vera have another kid?" Old Gus asked. "Yeah, Maggie. She's out right now," Jimmy answered. "All right, kid. See you tomorrow," old Gus said. "Glad you're joining us. People don't stay long." "Mr. Virer's always mad," Jimmy said, running off when Hank bellowed from inside to stop chatting and get to work. "No one lasts here with a boss like that." "What a bully," old Gus thought, shaking his head. He left the lot, smiling faintly. Soon he'd meet Maggie. On his first day, he woke before dawn, folded up his cot in the little room he was renting near the car wash. Thin plywood walls, patched tin roof, the wind whistling through the cracks. Despite the cold and the draft, his heart felt oddly light. First day, better be there before they open. "That Hank Virer looks like a monster when he's mad," he told himself, grabbing a carton of noodles from a neighborhood diner. 2 cars were already waiting at the gate when he arrived. He stepped in to greet Hank and Cassandra cut him off. "Good, you're early. Stop staring. Get to work. Can't you see the cars lining up?" she snapped. "Yes, sir," he said, hustling. "Jimmy will show you the ropes." Hank grunted. "And you're old. Figure things out. No dawdling. Does he treat everyone like this? What a jerk." Old Gus thought. Soon sweat poured down his back as he scrubbed tires and wiped windshields. For a man in his late 50s, it was grueling, but he never complained. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a young woman by the workbench. Quiet, focused, trying to fix a vacuum. Maggie, she didn't notice him. She was intent on the repair. "You okay, miss?" he asked gently. She nodded without looking up. If the vacuum didn't run again, she would be blamed. "Again? Want me to try? I can tinker a bit. I used to fix busted appliances at the office," he offered. "Really? Thank goodness. If Dad sees this broken again, I'm done. It wears out. We use it non-stop. But he says it's because I'm bad luck." She sighed, glancing up. She managed a small smile, but sadness clouded her eyes. "I'm Gus. Folks call me Old Gus. I'm new, he said. I'm Maggie, maid. I mean, daughter of the owner, she replied under her breath. You know, he said softly. Your personality is nothing like that girl I talked to yesterday. Your sister Cassandra. Did you fix it yet, sir? Maggie pivoted away from the subject. Yeah, the switch in back was loose. He grinned. Cassandra swooped in, assuming they were slacking. She yanked Maggie's hair so hard the young woman toppled off the stool. Early and you're already resting. You broke the vacuum again. I'm telling Dad. Slob. Cassandra hissed. I didn't break it. The switch loosened. Old Gus just fixed it. Maggie said. It's true, ma'am. Old Gus added. It'll run. Isn't your job washing cars? We didn't hire you to help Maggie. Let her deal with the junk she breaks. She's stupid, Cassandra sneered. I'll handle it, sir, Maggie said to Old Gus, then flipped the switch. The vacuum hummed. Old Gus went back to the line, jaw tight as Cassandra kept berating Maggie. Are they really sisters? Nothing alike. If I weren't holding back, I'd have kicked that Cassandra by now. I need to stay to learn why they treat Maggie like this, he told himself. That night, after he'd cleaned up in his tiny room, a soft knock came. He opened the door to find Maggie. Good evening, Old Gus. I just wanted to thank you. If you hadn't fixed the vacuum, I'd have been in trouble with Dad and with Cassandra, she said. He smiled. Think nothing of it. If you need help, I'm around. She nodded, hesitant. Do you ever just want to leave? Like, you're so tired, but there's nowhere to go, she asked. He felt quiet. He felt the weight in her words. Yeah, he said at last. There are days like that. But no matter how hard it gets, there's a reason to keep fighting. Maybe we don't see it yet, but one day we will. She looked down. I hope so, because sometimes I feel useless, like I've never felt a father's love, not from him, not even from my sister. I'm the reason my parents fight whenever Mom defends me, she whispered, tears welling. Don't believe what they say about you, he told her. You're not stupid. You're good. They just can't see it. Keep doing right. One day, you'll get past the sadness. In that moment, Old Gus knew he'd stay. He would help Maggie and really get to know her. But what if this kind old man was hiding a life-changing secret? Dark voices. Early the next morning, he sat by the gate sipping coffee when Cassandra strutted over. Old man, we've got a delivery coming. You unload the soap and supplies. If anything spills or breaks, it comes out of your pay. Got it, she snapped. Sure thing. Have you eaten? Don't scowl so much. It doesn't make you prettier. He smiled. Cassandra's eyebrows crashed together. She turned on her heel in a huff. When the truck arrived, Old Gus hefted boxes while Jimmy and Maggie helped. I'll stock the shelves, Maggie said. Finish your breakfast, sir. Have you eaten? He asked. Not yet. I'll grab something at the corner later, she said. Don't work on an empty stomach, he chided kindly. Come eat with me and Jimmy. I bought noodles and rolls at the diner. That's too much, she protested, then gave in, grateful for the warmth. For the first time, she felt treated with simple kindness, something her stepfather never gave. By late morning, the sun beat down as Old Gus rinsed an SUV. Hank marched by with a client, scowling, barking at the crew. He stopped where Maggie was cleaning seats inside a car. Didn't I tell you no wet rags on leather? You want me to make you pay? He shouted, pinching the soft skin of her upper arm hard. Old Gus froze, fist clenched, wanting to step in as Maggie winced and tried to twist away. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to, she said, eyes filling. You're always like this. You work hard, but you've got no brain. Useless, Hank spat. Cassandra, hearing the commotion, chimed in instead of calming things down. That's Maggie. No matter how many times you tell her, she never learns. Idiot, she said. Old Gus was stunned. Every day revealed more about Hank and Cassandra, and it wasn't good. After work, as he tulled off by the shed, one of the senior hands, Mark, sidled up a cigarette behind his ear. You see how they treat Maggie? It's rough, Mark muttered, shaking his head. Why her? Old Gus asked. Isn't she Hank's kid? On paper, but the rumor? She's not his. Mary's from before, that's why, Mark said quietly. Her mom's still around? Yeah, Mary. She's in her hometown. Her dad's sick. She's decent, unlike that pair. Without her around, Maggie gets it the worst. Old Gus fell silent. If she's not Hank's, could I take her out of here? But it needs to be legal. I have to talk to Mary, he thought. Any idea when Mary's back? He asked. No clue, Mark said. Wish she'd take Maggie with her. Kids treated like a servant, he added. The next morning, before coffee, old Gus heard a crash in the stockroom. Cassandra stood over a shattered bottle of car wax. Stupid. Look what you did. This stuff is expensive, she screamed, yanking the broom from Maggie and smashing it against her again and again. Stop. That hurts. I didn't mean to, Maggie cried. You never do anything right, Cassandra snarled, grabbing a fistful of Maggie's hair and shoving her face toward the mess. Please stop, Maggie begged and pushed her sister away in self-defense. Cassandra slammed into the wall, startled. Do you even think of me as your sister? I do everything you tell me. Why treat me like an animal? What did I do to you? Maggie's voice broke. Old Gus rushed in and pulled them apart. A cut on Maggie's cheek bled, his chest tightened with pity. What's going on? He asked. Because of that rat. She broke the stock. Cassandra yelled. I'll pay for whatever broke, old Gus said, stepping between them. You'll pay? That'll be 5 months of your pay if we even let you? Cassandra sneered. Fine, just stop hurting each other, he said. She's not my sister. How many times do I have to say I don't have a stupid sister? Cassandra spat, yanking Maggie's hair again as she left. Stop, old Gus cried. Maggie faced him, humiliated. This isn't your fault, sir. Don't let them dock your pay. I'll pay for it, she sobbed. It was an accident. And this stockroom isn't even organized, he said, gently wiping her tears and dabbing the blood from her cheek. They treat me like I'm the worst person alive, she said. I do everything just to be accepted, but it's never enough. Sometimes I wonder why I'm even here if this is what my life is. You're not the problem, he said softly. Sometimes the world is, but there are people who see the good in you. Not everyone, but some, and I'm one of them. Maggie hadn't noticed she'd already wrapped her arms around him. With old Gus, she felt for the first time like she had an ally, like a father figure giving the love she never got from Hank. That evening, old Gus found Maggie sitting by the gate, a small folded paper in her hands. Deep thoughts again. Why not rest? What are you holding? Stare any longer and it'll melt, he teased. I can't rest yet. I still have to wash Cassandra's clothes. I'm waiting for the drum to fill. She sighed. Doesn't your sister have hands? She can wash her own clothes. She's bigger than you? He said, shaking his head. If she tattles to Dad, I'm done for. Maggie said. No difference between your dad and Cassandra. Same face, same temper. You must take after your mom because you're the pretty one. He nudged, making her laugh for a moment. Don't tell them I said that or I'm fired. He grinned. Secret. She smiled. What are you reading? A note from Mom. I found it under my pillow. Must have written it before she left for the countryside, she said. The drum overflowed. She hurried to turn off the tap. Cassandra burst out of the house and marched over. Maggie, why are there bleach spots on my shirt? How many times do I have to tell you? Whites separate from colors. She kicked the basin. Old Gus hurried over. Hank came out too, irritation on his face. What now? Why all the yelling? He barked. Because Maggie ruined my friend's gift. That shirt? Cassandra snapped. It's just a shirt, Hank grunted. Shut up or you'll both get it, he said, jabbing a finger at them before heading back inside to count money. Business had been good. Cassandra wasn't done. You ruined it on purpose. You're jealous because no one gives you nice things. Rags suit you, she taunted. I didn't wash that shirt. You hung it yesterday, remember? Maggie said. Cassandra grabbed her hair and shoved her head toward the water barrel. Old Gus tore them apart. Enough, ma'am. Your sister will drown, he protested. Oh, so you're on her side. Figures. Cassandra snapped, flinging a dipper that cracked against Maggie's head. Maggie cried out, aching to leave, but rooted by love for her mother and the hope she'd come home soon. Later that day, a cab pulled up and a weary woman stepped out with a big bag. Mary, Maggie's mother. Maggie ran to her, hugging her hard. They hadn't seen each other for over a month. From a distance, old Gus watched them with a pang in his chest, then looked away and kept sweeping. Honey, how are you? Mary asked, wiping sweat from Maggie's brow. I'm fine, Mom. Why so late coming home? Maggie asked softly, still holding tight. Your grandpa's bad? There's no one else to watch him. Your aunt's work. My cousin Maddie's with him now, so I can rest, but I have to go back. He's on borrowed time. Cancer, Mary said. Do you want me to come? Not now. Your stepdad won't watch this place, and your sister won't lift a finger. Mary sighed. In the living room, Mary lay on the sofa while Maggie cooked lunch. Hank was gone, off to the card tables again. Cassandra had gone out with friends. As Mary sat up, she noticed bruises on Maggie's arm when the sleeve slid back. Be honest with me, she said softly. Are they still hurting you? Maggie couldn't answer. The look in her eyes said enough. I told your stepdad never to lay a hand on you, Mary said, voice tight. It's not so much the hitting anymore, it's the words. They burn, Maggie whispered. When will they treat me like a person? If he's not hitting you, then why all the bruises? Cassandra. She enjoys it, Mom. She grew up watching Dad do it. I hate fighting back, but I'm so tired. Maggie said, fighting tears. I never thought your own sister would do this while I was away. I'm sorry, Mary cried. Her mistake had become her daughter's daily cross. From the yard, old Gus could see the tender, painful talk between mother and daughter. At least Maggie had her mother back for a while. That night, the neighborhood store was open late. Old Gus picked up canned goods and chatted with the regulars. Mr. Andy and Mrs. Parker sipping beers on milk crates. Old Man heard Mary's back. Andy said, yeah, old Gus nodded. Thought she'd left Hank for good. Mrs. Parker said, Mary's an angel. Can't say the same for her husband. Why she stays, I don't know. Rude, arrogant, and not much to look at, she added. Their girl, Cassandra, got her daddy's temperament. Andy grunted. Poor Maggie. The stepchild of that lard bucket. Stepchild? Old Gus asked, playing dumb. They filled him in. Rumors that Maggie wasn't Hank's. Later in his room, bone tired from work. Old Gus fell into a dream of the woman from the Tahoe Lodge. He bolted up sweating. Why now? He drank water, lay back down, and pressed a hand to his forehead. Her face is clear. She looks like Maggie. It's been 26 years. Could it be? He shut his eyes and saw Mary's face. One afternoon, as old Gus rested under the maple by the car wash, Mary walked over with 2 bowls of soup. "Tadine, old Gus, have some. Fresh from Nina's market. Still hot," she said. "Thanks, ma'am. Perfect timing. I'm starving." He smiled. She sat beside him on the bench. "When did you start here?" she asked. "Just a couple weeks. Needed a roof and food. Got lucky," he said. They talked easily until shouting erupted from the house again. Cassandra and Maggie at it. "Hold on," Mary said and ran inside. Old Gus and Jimmy followed. "Didn't I tell you never to touch my stuff?" "Look, my perfume bottle's broken," Cassandra yelled. "I didn't do it." "A cat must have knocked them," Maggie said, flustered. "Liar. One's missing. You stole it," Cassandra accused. "I'm not a thief." Maggie shot back, standing her ground. Cassandra lunged for her hair, but Mary stepped between them and shoved Cassandra back. "Enough. How many times do I have to tell you to respect your sister?" Mary cried. "But she steals," Cassandra pouted. "Your things are everywhere. Use your eyes to look, not your mouth," Mary snapped later, handing Cassandra the bottle she herself had found under the sofa. That night, Hank came home from the casino in a foul mood. He'd lost again. Cassandra tattled, painting herself the victim. Hank hammered on Maggie's door, cursing. Mary tried to calm him. "You just got home. People are trying to sleep," she said. "I want a word with your girl. If there's one thing I hate, it's a thief." He roared. "She didn't steal anything. Here's the bottle. I found it under the couch." "Stop believing every lie your daughter tells," Mary said. Hank muttered and went to bed, chastened for now. The next day was Saturday, busy day. By early morning, the lot was buzzing. Maggie asked Mark to handle a seat cover install and took over rinsing a car. When she charged one customer, the old driver came up short. He was at the wrong shop and didn't have enough cash. Feeling sorry for him, Maggie let it go. Hank stormed over for the money and went red when he heard the amount. "You trying to bankrupt me with your stupidity? If you're not breaking equipment, you're giving away services," he shouted, slapping her hard. He whipped off his belt. "Please don't." "I'm sorry, he didn't have enough," she cried. "Use your brain for once," he bellowed. Old Gus and Mary rushed in and pulled him back while curious onlookers gathered at the fence. "Verer, please, enough," Mary begged. "Enough. She does this every day," he snarled. "That child is nothing but bad luck. She's not even stop." "People are watching," Mary hissed, pushing him toward the house. "You treat the rich with respect and crush the poor." Old Gus muttered under his breath, shaking. At lunch under the maple, Mary brought bowls of sour soup she'd cooked and sat with old Gus. "How's Maggie?" he asked, resting. "Please forgive my husband's behavior." "I can't change him," she said. "What did you mean earlier? Born of sin?" Old Gus asked quietly. Mary drew a long breath and stared up at the sky. Then she looked at him, eyes dim with pain. "Maggie is my child by another man. You can see she looks nothing like Hank or Cassandra. I was reckless that night. Maggie was conceived from a single wrong night with a stranger. I'd borne every insult to raise her. But because of my sin, my daughter suffers double. Every day the world calls her a bastard." Mary said, tears slipping free. Old Gus Isaac stared at her, stunned. A long-ago memory slammed into place. The woman from Tahoe, the ring on his finger, his late father's band that he sometimes wore. The face, everything aligned. "If it's not too much, tell me everything," he said. We went out to a lodge bar. I got drunk, staggered into the wrong room. The man must have been drunk, too. He wore a wedding ring, so I ran as soon as I woke up, Mary said. The truth was suddenly clear to Isaac, the warmth he felt toward Maggie, the draw to Mary, the way Maggie's eyes mirrored his. She's my daughter, he kept his voice steady. Thank you for trusting me, he said. Please eat. Mary smiled weakly, standing. Isaac watched her go. The decision already formed in his heart. I need to be sure. A DNA test. The following day, when Maggie turned away, old Gus brushed a lock of her hair as if to comfort her and without her noticing, kept a single strand. Outside the lot, he slipped it into an envelope and called Danny to pick it up. Run a DNA test quietly, he said when they met on a side street. Sir, whose hair? Why? Danny asked. No questions. Results in a week. Bring them straight to me, Isaac said. Danny pulled away in a sleek sedan. Hank spotted old Gus talking to the owner of that fancy car. Why didn't you bring him in? He looks like a big spender, Hank grumbled. He was just asking about services. Old Gus lied. On Sunday, his day off, old Gus called Danny again. Go to the mall. Bring your wife, buy women's clothes in her size, 2 pairs of shoes to match, he said. Danny laughed. You courting someone, sir? You'll see, Isaac said. Even on his day off, old Gus swung by the car wash with grocery bags. You shouldn't have, Maggie said, cheeks pink. I was bored, and you're too thin. Take it. Don't argue, he grinned. She accepted, bewildered and grateful. Thank you, she whispered. You're like a daughter to me, he said softly. I'm far from my own family. You've become my family here. Cassandra barged in, eyebrows arched. Groceries for Maggie, she sneered. My money, my choice, old Gus said evenly. As he turned to go, Cassandra hissed. What are you two together? Disgusting. Please ignore her, Maggie murmured. Thank you again. You, ma'am, need to learn the word respect, old Gus said to Cassandra, meeting her glare. Her cheeks flamed. She stalked off, fuming. That afternoon, Danny called. Isaac met him, took the shopping bags, and reminded him, discretion, and as soon as you get the DNA results, call me. He hurried back to the lot and handed the bags to Maggie. More? This is too much, she said, flustered. You said Hank didn't pay you. These are comfortable dresses. Your clothes are worn thin, he said. You'll get me in trouble. Let them fire me if they want, he said. Cassandra swooped in, snatched the bag, and blanched at the labels. How can a car wash geyser afford this, she demanded. I worked for it, he replied calmly. She threw the bag back at Maggie, masking envy with contempt. Hank stormed over. Cassandra says you're courting Maggie. True, he shouted. No, sir. I gave her dresses because you won't pay her. She works like everyone else. Old Gus said. You don't tell me how to run my business. Get out. You're fired. Hank snarled, shoving him toward the gate. Maggie tried to intervene. Hank backhanded her. I don't want to see your face again. He spat at Gus, even spitting on the ground at his feet. Old Gus steadied himself, staring levelly at Hank. I'll be back as myself, he vowed silently. Inside, Cassandra snatched the bag of clothes and shoes. These don't suit you. Rags are your style. She laughed. With Mary at the market, no one was there to stop her and Hank. On her way home, Mary ran into old Gus and saw the storm in his face. What happened? She asked. I argued with your husband and daughter. They fired me. He said, they can't. Come with me. I'll talk to them. She said, no, just protect Maggie. I can't watch them hurt her anymore, he said, anger breaking in his voice. He took Mary's hand. She met his eyes, tears rising. Mary, I need to talk to you. I have a confession, he said. Tell me, she said, leading him into a quiet corner booth at a diner. When he finished, Mary's hands trembled. You're saying you might be that man? But how? My real name is Isaac Lawrence. I've been pretending to be old Gus. Long story. Maybe fate led me here. The day I first saw Maggie, I felt it. I looked for you for years and found nothing. I never married. I didn't want to build a family while I searched. I won't wreck yours now. I only want to change Maggie's life. She deserves joy, he said, voice raw. Mary nodded, weeping. She told him why she'd run out that long ago morning, the ring on his hand. He smiled sadly. It was my father's ring, he said. Mary's eyes dropped to a patch of skin above his knee where his torn jeans showed a birthmark. Her hand flew to her chest. Maggie has the same mark, she whispered. We'll wait for proof, Isaac said. When the results come, I'll end Maggie's suffering. Mary begged him not to reveal anything without evidence. Hank would explode and take it out on Maggie. Isaac agreed. He would return with proof. Mary, torn between stones, felt a spark of hope. At last, she had met Maggie's real father. The tension at home worsened. Mary finally snapped one night and struck Hank when he lunged for Maggie again, splitting his lip. I've held back long enough. She may be your stepchild, but she is my child. You'll never hit her again, Mary said, shaking. Cassandra stared, stunned. She had never seen her mother stand up to Hank like that. Hank pounded on Maggie's door again, but Cassandra pulled him away and he stomped off, kicking the door as he left. Days later, a luxury car pulled up in front of Vera's car wash. A tall, silver-haired man stepped out in a crisp white shirt and slacks. He removed his sunglasses, strikingly handsome despite his years. Hank hustled out, all smiles. Good afternoon, sir. We offer a full range of services, he gushed. The man chuckled softly. Polite to customers. Are you like that with everyone? He asked, studying Hank's face. Have we met? You look familiar? Hank squinted. I'm Isaac, the man said. I'm looking for a young woman named Maggie. Why? Hank asked, suspicion prickling. I want to see her, Isaac said. Maggie, sweeping by the side door, heard and hesitated. Before she could step forward, Cassandra flounced up to Isaac, pining in a new dress. He glanced at her outfit and almost smiled. He recognized the label he'd bought. I want to see Maggie, he repeated, gaze cool. Why? What do you want with her? Hank demanded. She's my daughter, Isaac said. Hank's eyes bulged. Daughter? I'm her father. Prove it. Isaac held out an envelope. Hank tore it open and scanned the DNA report, positive. Cassandra leaned over his shoulder, speechless. Mary stepped out of the house and froze at the sight of Isaac. He came back, she thought. Who came back, Mom? Maggie asked, appearing behind her. Mary squeezed Maggie's hand and led her forward. Isaac didn't wait. He reached out and drew his daughter into a hug, then handed her the document. Who are you? Why are you looking for me? Maggie asked, voice trembling. Don't you recognize me, my child? I'm old Gus, your friend. And I am your real father, he said, gentle but firm. It's hard to explain, but I will if you'll come with me. Maggie looked to Mary, confused. Mary nodded through tears. Maggie read the report, then looked up, stunned. But how? She whispered. Isaac explained how fate had crossed their paths twice. Once in danger by the gate, then again under a disguise so he could know her better, and how the truth had come to light. Hank shoved closer, unable to stay quiet. Even if you are her father, you can't just take her. She's under my roof. We treat her fine, he lied. Do you? Or do you F over the rich and grind down the poor? Isaac's voice cooled. You don't recognize me? I'm old Gus, the useless old man you threw out. I saw how you treated my daughter. You and Cassandra made her your servant. Hank's bluster faltered. He tried another angle, demanding payment for raising Maggie. But Isaac told him plainly that if he harassed them, he could answer to the law. Hank backed off, cowed by a man he now realized was powerful. Isaac Lawrence, multimillionaire CEO of a U.S. advertising company with restaurants in Canada and South Korea. Cassandra went pale as the name flashed on her phone screen. She all but fell to her knees, begging Maggie's forgiveness for everything. "You don't have to do that," Maggie said quietly. "Just be a better person. Treat everyone with respect, rich or poor. Stop pretending." Her words landed harder than any slap. Maggie agreed to go with Isaac. The relief in her chest felt like air after drowning. "Go, honey," Mary said, crying. "We've talked about what's best for you. It's time to be happy. I'm right here. Visit me whenever you want. I'll visit you, too." Isaac's security team guided father and daughter to the car. Maggie begged to bring her mother, but Mary chose to stay for now. She still had to go back to the countryside to care for her ailing father. Isaac promised to set Mary up with a business of her own without Hank and Cassandra involved. It was time they learned a lesson. Weeks later, Mary returned. Her father had passed from cancer. After the funeral, she came back to Anderson Hollow to be with her daughter when she visited. In the years that followed, Maggie studied business management. She would one day inherit her father's advertising firm. It wasn't easy, but she learned quickly. Despite Hank and Cassandra's cruelty, Maggie asked Isaac if they could visit them. Facing Maggie and Isaac, Hank and Cassandra wept apologies. Forgiveness wasn't easy, but Maggie chose it for her own peace. On weekends, she and Mary organized community meal programs in Anderson Hollow. Cassandra helped under Mary's firm guidance. Though envy still flared in Cassandra now and then, she tried to do better. One day, word reached Maggie that Hank had died of heatstroke. She didn't rejoice. She bore no grudge. "Are you ready to work at the company?" Isaac asked, smiling. "I just graduated, Dad," she laughed. "So, next week, I'm introducing you as my heir," he said. "I still can't believe we found each other," she whispered, overwhelmed with joy. After Hank's burial, Mary and Cassandra managed the car wash until they discovered Hank had mortgaged it to the hilt. Before the lender could seize it, Maggie paid off the debt and put the business in Mary's name. The shop flourished and even opened 2 more branches. Mary and Isaac became friends and kept it there. Mary believed every bond had its boundary. Those who had belittled Maggie could hardly believe she was the daughter of a multi-millionaire CEO. Under Isaac's mentorship, she grew the company even larger. Her story of cruelty endured, of courage, of grace became an inspiration to many. Dark voices.